This video describes what pure MDMA feels like. You might also know it as Molly, Mandy, Ecstasy, or according to the DEA, both Adam and Eve. Also beans. The low dose. So the weird thing about MD is that this guy's low dose is this other guy's ended up having my first gay experience even though I'm straight dose. To avoid depression after your trip, I really recommend finding a dosage calculator online and doing that good old safety research everyone wishes they had done after the fact. Which means at least testing your MD and finding the right supplements, but this video is about what it feels like, not what it feels like afterwards when you don't prepare, so back to it, the low dose. With just a little bit of MD, you can expect a slight rush of energy, euphoria, and an easier time talking to whoever's around you. But I know you're all here for at least the common dose, so imagine the rest of the low dose effects are just a milder version of the stuff I'm gonna say next. At a moderate dose, you suddenly start to believe all those people who once told you it's all gonna be okay when at the time you were like meh, 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 meh. All your senses are gonna be heightened and tingling with pleasure, music will sound orgasmic, touching and hugging will feel orgasmic, pretty much everything will be orgasmic, and you know how when you orgasm all that oxytocin makes you feel more connected? Now that creepy 50-year-old man staring at you in the club must just like really know your soul or something, man. No, but for real, you'll probably connect quite a lot with the people you're with, you'll probably feel in love with everyone, and this can be transformative on both ends of the spectrum because it's also not hard to say things you'll regret. It kind of feels like your body becomes an empty vessel that gets filled with this warm, tingly pleasure and emotion. You still feel kinda sober, but it's like a pure magical, you're a billionaire's son on Christmas kinda sober. But it's not always bliss, there's also quite a few other possible effects like anxiety, especially as you come up. Don't worry, this is common and almost always goes away. Also wanting to yawn or stretch, and generally feeling not tired but just wanting to lie down and melt as opposed to... You might also feel hot or cold, or like your heart suddenly decided to Adam and Eve inside your chest. And for the infamous effect that's pretty guaranteed and tends to only go up as your dose increases, the gurning. When you're gurning, to you look like this, but to everyone else who hasn't taken MD, you look like you're on 15 drugs, 14 of which haven't even been discovered yet. Also, it can make your jaw ache quite a lot, especially the next day, no matter how still you try and keep it, especially going into the high dose. So here, the sensory overload becomes quite intense, and whilst at the medium dose, colors might look a little brighter with some mild distortions, it's now possible to full on hallucinate, and if you're like me, you'll get some eye jiggles too. At this point, it's everything from before, but more intense, and this is really the tipping point where experiences can become less pleasant as the dose goes up. This is especially true when it comes to the calm down. It's probably going to be really hard to sleep, and people also use weed, but definitely don't use alcohol. It doesn't necessarily improve the experience, and now you have all these extra side effects to deal with. When it comes to the calm down, it can feel the worst you've ever felt emotionally, or it can be a nice happy afterglow. Which one it is will depend on a lot of factors, so now that you know what to expect, go do more research, and whilst I don't recommend it, if you're going to do this drug no matter what, tilt it in as positive a direction as you can ahead of time. If you're like me and you're going to use MDMA not for this, but for actually improving your life, or both, no reason this couldn't be a form of self-improvement, then definitely. Otherwise, watch our video about what the ketamine K-hole feels like. It's an absolute banger. Peace!